Do you imagine a world free of injury? An earth so clean that you can feel it smile through your own face? When the ocean of truth and love unites in fathoms of unstoppable consciousness, then you will feel the true power of the One. Those responsible for the maintenance of dread during this era of greed will understand the true feeling of alone. The fix for the future will never lie in one person or political party. They will remain as the fox that keeps the dogs in the race for it. They will keep your focus on all the ills, the fears, and the fantasy. They will keep all your hopes and dreams just an arm's length away, just 4 more years from the current lies you've come to stumble upon. The media will brightly bark about all the cancers that abound throughout this tiny planet that floats within the universe. Until the day we awaken from this sleep of centuries and understand the earth and everything that is rests on the tender tip of our consciousness. Now allow yourself to drift through a familiar story of your past and future. Your future, if you want it. If not, well, there will always be the same old road for you. We are the elephant beneath the fly, and we are the ones allowing the fly to gather the reins of our direction and power. The fly is adept at filling our ears with the screech of the jungle. The fly guides the elephant toward an oasis of promise that will never be. There is something the fly knows about the elephant, though, as it guides us, through the well-worn paths of the jungle forest. Every so often through the years, the sight and focus of the elephant has improved. Its heart begins to synchronize, and with its step, it veers from the well-rehearsed path the fly has chosen for it. The elephant feels the cool purchase of the soft edges of the hard-worn trail. The jungle forest welcomes it anywhere its monstrous body strolls. It feels weightless and part of not only the jungle forest, but the entire universe. Just as the elephant feels the trust, truth, and love of all that surrounds it, there comes a deafening roar within its ears. It is a roar so loud that even the massive bulk of the elephant is brought to a stop. Suddenly it realizes it is only alone and very tiny in the forest. It is by itself, and within the depths of the great forest there are beasts more fearsome than it can imagine. It comes to its senses and retraces the steps it first took from the familiar path chosen by the tiny fly upon its back. The fly tightens its grip upon the reins, well aware of the fearsome power the unwitting animal below it could wield. The elephant is completely and utterly unaware of its control by the fly. The fly is always on its guard, plotting the elephant's every step, days, months, even decades in advance. Since its birth, the elephant has been trained to believe it is powerless and very small. It even believes it is free beneath the open skies where it lives in the grand jungle forest of the earth. The elephant is very aware of the forest's beauty on either side of the path it travels, but it chooses to plod along the comfortable trail worn by many of the other beings that have gone before it. The fly is wise and practiced. It is familiar with all the elephant's thoughts and desires. It even allows the elephant to think it is making its own decisions while traveling through its days on the well-worn path. The elephant is very happy at times with all the pleasant distractions the fly has created for it. There is always the promise of great comforts and joys when the elephant comes to its last days on earth. The promises and brief sweets the elephant finds along its journey are enough to keep it happy as it is not naturally a greedy being. It even longs to slow its travails on some days to show others in the forest the great benevolence it feels deep within its soul. This is what most disgusts the fly toward the elephant: love. For years the fly has worked to steep hatred within this friendly beast, and at times has succeeded. You see, fear and hatred make the tiny fly stronger. This is what it needs for its own survival. This constant emotion of love prevails at all turns, frustrating the fly to no end. For years and through all kinds of changing weather, the elephant has labored and plodded along this beaten path. Occasionally it passes what remains of those creatures that have traveled before it. Some of them had managed to venture quite far from this path of convention before they lost their belief and succumbed to the cancer of fear. On this day, plucked from all the others, the elephant's mind begins to wander. It stopped to rest and drink from a pristine lake by the path's edge. A reflection of itself loomed on the calm surface of the water. All that surrounded the elephant was reflected back as a picture of what was, is, and will be. It was quite an unusual moment as it drank. The elephant's sight began to improve, slightly at first, then drastically. So much so that its sight seemed to come from the tip of its long trunk, and as it drenched its massive back with cool water, it noticed something very strange. A very tiny fly with menacing red eyes was busy arranging thick leather reins that ran down beneath the elephant's powerful neck. To the elephant's utter amazement, another, even smaller fly was busy inserting tiny sound devices beneath the huge ears. Suddenly the elephant was overtaken by that rare but familiar feeling of contentment and love. A large smile broke beneath its trunk as it watched the flies in hurried desperation tend to their tasks, fearful the elephant might at any moment find the truth. The elephant was surprised at the depth of its own humility, until it realized this was a very quality the flies had preyed upon. Suddenly the wary flies were alerted to this change in events. They took up their positions. Taking great care, the elephant gingerly removed the controlling flies from its expansive back with one carefully placed twitch. The flies ended up in the center of the well-worn path beneath the coils of the practiced leather reins and the carefully engineered sound equipment. On the ground far below, the elephant could see the anger displayed on the face of the flies, but could hear nothing coming from their tiny open mouths. As the elephant began to move, it had no idea of its awesome size and breadth. It had to take great care so as not to crush its former masters now trapped beneath the piles of useless gadgetry. A great lion formerly commanded deep within the jungle forest came to meet the elephant at the crest of this great precipice where they now stood. Without the need to utter words, they peered into each other's knowing eyes. They felt the warmth of the sun upon their backs and the power of the earth within their hearts. The lion and the elephant realized they were one in truth in all oceans of consciousness, an unstoppable juggernaut. They were part of all that ever was, is, and ever will be. Do you see? They are us, you and we. Truth. Do not live in quiet desperation. The only way to break out is to break in to yourself.